2026 is now called to order. In accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10-4-6, adequate notice giving the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda of this meeting was sent to the Hunterdon County Democrat, Star Ledger, and Courier News on January 7th, 2026, and published on January 12th, 2026. The meeting start time was subsequently re-advertised on the district website. In addition, notice of this meeting has been posted at the North Hunterdon High School and Voorhees High School, provided to the municipal clerks of Bethlehem Township, California Borough, Town of Clinton, Clinton Township, Franklin Township, Glen Gardner Borough, Hampton Borough, Highbridge Borough, Lebanon Township, Tewksbury Township, and Union Township, as well as other interested parties, and posted on the legal notices section of the district website. Fire exits are located in the directions indicated. If alerted to fire, please move in a calm and orderly fashion to the nearest smoke-free exit. Restrooms are located through the doors behind this desk and to the right as indicated. At this time, please silence all cell phones. I do want to read the mission statement. The North Hunterdon-Voorhees Regional High School District empowers all students through innovative and personalized learning to achieve their full potential, embrace lifelong learning, and contribute responsibly to a changing world. Roll call.
Ms. Ayers? Here. Mr. Chapman?
Here.
Mr. Hanley?
Here.
Ms. Sims? Here. Mr. Lordy?
Here.
Mr. Matthews is absent. Ms. Mezzacappa?
Here.
Mr. Morgan?
Here.
Ms. Reyes? Here. Mr. Spanton?
Should be arriving shortly.
Okay. Ms. Stein?
Here.
And Mr. McIsaac?
Here. Could you please stand for the flag salute?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I need a call for a motion and second to adopt Resolution 042826-2 for an executive session to discuss matters reflected in the attached resolution. The board expects to be in executive session for approximately 45 minutes, and upon return to public session, action will be taken. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Rich, thank you. Can I get a second? Nicole, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Okay, we'll be back. Calling for a motion and a second to reconvene public session. Can I get that motion to reconvene? Tara, thank you. Second, I think I saw Andrea. She just beat you to it, Andy. All in favor? Aye. Opposed or abstentions? None? Okay. Can I get a call for a motion and second to approve agenda items 6162, our minutes from the last two meetings? Can I get that motion? Thank you, Nicole. Can I get a second? Merrill, thank you. Questions or clarifications on the minutes? Sarah? No. No? Okay. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed or abstentions? All right, that brings us to our recognition of student achievements. I can't remember who we did first last month. I apologize. I don't know who's ready. All right, Dr. Cottrell.
We went at the same time last time.
All right. Oh, that's right, it was a joint one.
Right, Sophia, come on.
Okay.
It was a trick question.
Yes.
So it's my pleasure to introduce you to a senior in North Carolina High School. Her name is Sophia Randall, and she is the president of our fashion club, and we're here to recognize
the fashion club, who she's representing tonight, for their contributions to the Linus Foundation. And the Linus Foundation makes blankets. I asked Sophia to bring a sample of the blanket tonight. So Project Linus is a national organization that provides handmade blankets to hospitalized children from birth to age 18. With the opening of a new chapter in Hunterdon County, our fashion club partnered with them to make blankets in various sizes for children who currently need a little extra warmth while staying in our local hospitals. Sophia, after giving a presentation on thrifting, upcycling, and sustainability to the fashion club, helped to get the materials from local thrift stores and then members created the knotted blankets for the children. So that is what they made and donated to the Project Linus. So Sophia is an active member of our art club as well as our fashion club, obviously, and she's both a member of our English Honor Society and Art Honor Society. In the fall, she will be attending, surprise, surprise, the Fashion Institute of Technology, where she plans to pursue the 2+2 program, which is spending 2 years working towards a fine arts degree and 2 years working toward an art history degree. She hopes to work in a museum one day and will also continue to create her own art, telling stories through collage, sketches, and drawings. So congratulations to the Fashion Club and Sophia. So Sophia, we get your picture in front of the screen. I'll take the blanket off your hands and you can take that. Here. Step a little bit toward the center. Congratulations.
Sophia, well done. Great on the service. Great initiative.
Thank you.
So I had the honor of having these two wonderful, well-rounded individuals with me who hit career milestones this year in their senior year of athletics. To my left is Maddie Pitek, to my right is Christian Billette. Maddie has been involved with girls basketball since her freshman year, and finished her career with 1,081 points, eclipsing the 1,000 mark. So her name will forever be on the banner at Voorhees as part of the 1,000 Points Club. This year she was named first team all-conference. She also recently participated in the Skyline Conference All-Star Game. Maddie is also involved with the Unified Flag Football. Watched them actually play before we got here today. They're 5-0 now, winning over Union today. She's involved with Students for Change and Relay for Life. She will be attending Rensselaer Polytech Institute this fall to study finance and marketing and emerging technologies. So there's Maddie. And Christian Billette was part of the Voorhees High School wrestling program for the past 4 years as a 4-year varsity letter winner, a 2-year captain, a 2-time district champion, and the 5th most winningest wrestler in Voorhees history with a career win total of 119 wins. Christian was an outstanding leader both on and off the wrestling mat and a positive role model for his teammates. In addition to the wrestling, he has been involved with Unified Soccer and is a member of the National Honor Society. And Christian, as you can see on his shirt, will be attending the University of Maryland to study biological sciences with specifically in cell biology and genetics. So, congratulations and thanks for all you do there. All right, now if I can have two of you go over.
Maddie, Christian, congratulations, well done. All right. That brings us to our board student representatives report. Samantha, I can't remember who started last
I'll
time.
go first, because she
Okay.
wasn't here.
Yes.
And I honestly don't think, I've been avoiding it for like a month, so. Okay, hi everybody. It's been a busy April, so I'm just gonna get started. So I minimized a little bit on sports because they're all doing so well, so I'm just gonna say they're all doing so well. But I do have some recognition. So we did have our Skyland Conference Scholar athletes announced, and that was Daphne Ruskowski and Austin Fritz, and they were recognized for their commitment to excellence both in the classroom and in athletics. We also had Matteo Tramatola named as the New Jersey North-South All-Star and honored by the New Jersey Army National Guard, and he was honored at our spring pep rally. Baseball has played two very important games lately. They went to TD Bank Ballpark, which is the Somerset Patriots Stadium, and they played a game there, which was a very great experience for the team. They also took a trip to Florida and played games down there and just had some team bonding time, and it was also a really great experience. Softball had their Make-A-Wish game, and they raised $1,500 for the cause. Track had their pen relays, with girls participating in the DMR 4x4 and 4x1, and the boys participated in the 4x4. That's an exclusive invitational meet, so it was a big honor that they got to go and participate. Both teams did very well. Additionally, we had some exciting news for Unified Soccer. This is a fall sport, but what happens in the spring is called Red Bull Unified Soccer Team Tryouts, where all of the Unified Soccer teams from New Jersey are invited to participate in tryouts, and we had several people selected this year. So that was Larkin Villatoro, Sebastian Duckworth, Annie Tramatola, Finn Specken, Julian Kufo for the second year, and Alex Aldana. On May 8th, they get to go on the Red Bull's private jet to Chicago and play against the Chicago Unified Soccer team. And we had the most student representatives in the state on the team this year. So that's a very big accomplishment. For arts, we had a bunch of things happen this past month and coming up. So we did have our play Into the Woods. It was amazing, and that was on April 16th to 19th. A great experience, and our Unified Club also came as part of their community night. We have multiple arts programs going to Teen Arts, which is a countywide festival tomorrow, and that is for theater, vocal, dance, photography, and art, as well as creative writing. So they get to go, and their performances are evaluated, and then we get some feedback, and some groups will move on to states. So we already know that we had one person selected from the art category to move on to states. We'll find out about everything else in the next few days, so I'll let you know next month. We also had our Disney trip, which is where a marching band, concert choir, and freshman choir were all invited down to Florida to participate in a competition and parade in Disney Springs. They had a great time, they just came back, so now everyone's recouping from that and moving forward with practices for that, especially with our spring concerts coming up on May 13th and May 20th. So academics, we have our AP test coming up, which I am not excited for, but that is okay. So we have 571 exams taken by 304 students. So this is 32.23% of students taking an AP exam at Voorhees, which is pretty incredible, especially because freshmen don't take exams. So that's a really big chunk of the student bodies. In terms of clubs, activities, and accomplishments, we had our Unified Silent Disco and Laser Tag on April 1st. It was a really great community night, and they had a lot of fun. We also had Bring Your Child to Work Day, which was kind of hectic with a bunch of children running around, but we got to see a lot of staff members' kids, and they participated in activities and events planned by Students for Change. We had our Unified Autism Awareness booth on April 15th, and they had educational facts and a celebration on individuality. They do these booths a couple every month about different conditions and about being of differing abilities, and this was a really great one. The entire school gets involved, and they sign banners saying that they are committed to creating a culture around celebrating our differences. We also had our Key Club attend DCON in March. So I'm a part of Key Club. I'm the past president, and I'm glad to say that we won a lot of awards this year. So we placed first in our single service project, where we collected over 1,000 books and had a literacy awareness booth. We placed second in Kiwanis Family Relations for our Thanksgiving food drive. We had a service year recap video, placed third, and we were recognized as a distinguished club. We also have Relay for Life coming up a month from tomorrow. So I would love to encourage everyone that is part of any type of community group to create a team. We're going to be sending out a district-wide email in the next few days with more information on that. But last year we raised $17,000, and we're hoping to raise even more this year. So if you have any questions, please please feel free to reach out to me. And that's on May 29th from 3 to 10. Our class of 2026 has their dinner cruise, which is one of our senior trips, on May 18th, and they go to the New York City Harbor, so we're looking forward to that. Talking about seniors, we also have Decision Day on Friday. On Decision Day, seniors are invited to wear any type of shirt or merch that showcases what they're doing next year, so whether it's going into the workforce and they want to wear something related to that, or going to a college or a trade school. And then we're going to take a class photo and post that on social media just to celebrate our seniors' next steps. Finally, I'm almost done, I promise. We have History Honor Society doing their Field of Flags. This is something we started last year, where students and staff members and community members are invited to purchase flags, and we line them up outside the school to honor our soldiers and our veterans, and all of the benefits from that go to the VFW 5119 in Glen Gardner. And that's what I have for this month, and I'll have more for you next month. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Samantha. Maura, welcome, joining us for, I think, the second time this year. So welcome, and feel free to take the stage.
Okay, so for North, we also had the Disney Performing Arts trip. Around 90 students from concert choir, concert band, and string orchestra all went to Walt Disney World, where they performed on the Disney Spring stage. And they also, this was interesting, they had a Lion King soundtrack session where they were working on the harmonies and the voiceover techniques. It was as if they were in the movie, so that was really cool. And then, of course, they stopped at all 4 parks, and I had lots of sunburns, but lots of smiles, so that's good. National Honor Society, so the Blood Cancer United Walkathon is going on until Thursday, April 30th. So members are seeking sponsors to donate for each mile that they walk. And also additional flat donations will be accepted through the school's fundraising page on the actual Blood Cancer United Walkathon. Say you say, hey, this is $20 for, Mara Green every mile she walks, that'll count. So just keep that in mind for the comments. Peer leadership program, so on Monday and Tuesday of last week, 30 selected peer leaders visited the sending middle school districts. And we shared information about North Hunterdon, answered all their questions, just to kind of take the pressure off and make their transition easier next year. Prism Club, we had the Day of Silence on April 10th, and this is a national initiative to raise awareness about the impact of bullying and harassment of LGBTQ students. We also had our career fair, which is super exciting for the underclassmen. This was in the main gym where local professionals provided students with insight on various career paths. We also have our exchange program happening. So our exchange students from Spain arrived last week and will remain with us through Saturday. And they've been on trips to New York City. I know they went to the Liberty Science Center, and then they also have been going to classes at North, so they truly get the full experience. And we also had Bring Your Child to Work Day. It was super fun, various activities all throughout the school, so everywhere you walked you saw a little mini teacher, so it was super fun to see that. The theater department, the Spring Cabaret, will take place on May 1st and 2nd, and will feature a selection of songs and scenes performed by the theater students, including Max Sklar, so make sure to see him. That's where he's practicing for tonight. Our Tri-M Music Honor Society is hosting its 3rd annual Representing Recital, featuring performances and presentations celebrating Black History Month and Women's History Month. For our World Languages Department, the junior and senior Latin classes visited the Metropolitan Museum of Art to explore Greek and Roman art, and it was an extension of classroom learning. We have learned all these things about Caesar and, everything, so seeing it all in person was really cool. The Student Advisory Committee met to discuss upcoming school events and provide recommendations regarding next year's phone policy or various procedures happening in the school, giving our input and collaborating. And then Special Olympics is happening this Sunday. Outside, if you see on the turf, they're all practicing right now for their big event on Sunday, where everyone is going to compete in their various track events and try their best. And it brings the whole county together and students from our school and other schools. So that's a great event that's happening soon. And then lastly, athletics. All spring sports teams are kind of in the midst of their season, so we don't have some striking highlights. I know we did also attend 10 relays, so that's super exciting for our track teams. But we're kind of on the edge for that. We're going to see how we do in the following weeks and what that looks like. That's all.
Maureen, Samantha, I just want to commend you once again. You're really unparalleled in telling the story of the district in so many diverse and affirmative ways. So we really appreciate it. Thank you for coming out. And as a signal to both of you and the other students in attendance this night, please feel free to leave when it is convenient for you. We will shift to our ongoing business, so we understand you have busy lives as well. Oh, wait.
Nope, I know Sam is going to leave because I see you're closing the computer, but for those of you that saw the show Into the Woods, it was a great show, and I'll say a little bit more about that later, but since Sam is here, I want to say thank you for all the work you did on the set. It was, you're stage manager, correct?
Yes.
And, it's a huge undertaking. If you did see the play, literally the tree shook. I still got to figure out how she did it.
Really, really cool.
I'm sure there's some secrets, but anyway, it was a great job.
We'll talk all
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all the students coming out tonight. Job well done. Have a great conclusion to the school year.
Thank you.
See you again.
We'll see you next month.
Yep. All right, we are shifting gears into our hearing and adoption of the 2026-27 school year budget. That begins with our public hearing presentation of the school year budget. So the presentation will go up if folks need to see, and I will hand things over to Ms. Boone.
So thank you for the opportunity. We'll be talking about tonight's public hearing on the 26-27 budget. We've started these conversations back in January when we talked about expenditures and cost containment, talked about revenues in February. We had our preliminary budget adoption in March, and now tonight will be the synopsis of what was approved by the county office and what we will be presenting to the board for approval tonight. So we always start our budget season with what are our primary budget goals, and I'll let Rich kind of speak to those overarching goals that help us frame our budget.
So, we've talked about this, a lot over the last few months, but I just want to reiterate, these are our main objectives with this budget. Maintaining a comprehensive educational and extracurricular program. We offer every academics you could possibly want in the school for our students, and also extracurricular activities in regards to sports and activities. Our students are very involved. They have a great experience in high school, and that's what we want to maintain with this budget. We also want to ensure safe and functional facilities. That is to make sure that those activities they're able to do are done in a safe and efficient manner. So facilities, as I think everybody knows, it's very expensive to maintain. 2 facilities of this size, 2 distinct high schools in the county. We also want to attract and retain our highly qualified staff. Retaining our staff is really important, and attracting new people to come to our district is just as important as well. So we want to make sure that we have the pay scale that will attract people, keep them here, and also the activities and the things that we provide for our staff in supporting a budget of this nature so that they feel that they have the support to do the job that they're doing in the classroom. We also want to exercise the fiscal responsibility and cost containment, and I think we tried to demonstrate that with the presentations that we've done over the last few months to make sure that you understand what we've done to make sure that we have sharpened our pencils. We have done everything we possibly can to contain costs, but there are some things that were out of our control. I think we've talked health benefits, ad nauseum, and we'll probably talk a little bit more about that tonight, but, those are just some things that were out of our control, but we still made it work within the most reasonable way we could. And then, of course, we have our strategic goals and state mandates. Our strategic plan is what drives our actions in this district for the next 5 years. We're finishing up year 1 of it now. And state mandates, I don't want to get too far into that, but we have mandates that come down from the state that we have to do, whether it is part of the curriculum or whether it's things like cell phone bans or, there's all kinds of mandates come down from the state. And those are typically unfunded. It's not like the state says, we need you to do something else and we're going to give you a little bit more money to help you do it. That is on the burden of the taxpayers, but we don't have a choice but to do those things. So those are the budget goals. I hope everyone understands that as we go through the rest of this presentation. And that's what we should be focused on.
So what were the budget challenges that we had when we were facing putting this together? And I'm going to highlight these, and we're going to have some additional slides to kind of highlight some of these as well. Is the state aid funding that we've had that's been declining since 2018. S2 hit this district specifically hard, and it was over that 6-year period during SU2 that we had a large amount of our state aid eliminated. Our healthcare costs, again, we've talked about this at length, but we'll be talking about it again tonight. The healthcare marketplace is experiencing significant increases this year, and we were not insulated from that. Our increases were significant. Special education costs are increasing at a rate greater than 2%, specifically for out-of-district placements. Transportation continues to escalate due to continued driver shortages and also gasoline costs and the bus costs for our vendors. And also state mandates, as Rich has alluded to. So how did we bridge the gap and see savings in order to balance this budget? So again, our budget drivers are increasing at a rate that are much greater than the 2% tax levy cap. So that gap is bridged by these following items, and I'll kind of let you describe
So,
them.
and again, we've talked about these again, but I want to reiterate them. We're creating an ESL program at our district because our numbers are increasing for our ESL population, and the out-of-district cost for sending those students out is now going to exceed having our own program. So we're able to reduce our costs from out-of-district placements by creating a program. We also increased our special service offerings to reduce professional fees. What that means is we hired professionals like speech language therapists instead of contracting those services out, because those contracted services ended up costing us more. Even when we were offering benefits to an employee, when we did all the math, it ended up costing more to have those contracted out. So by bringing those in-house, we save money, and we have professionals in-house that are serving our school community only. We did some right sizing of non-instructional staff. Basically what that means is looking at all of our staff and making sure that we kept any reductions in staff outside the classroom. Made sure that our non-instructional program was where we looked when it was possible to reduce any staff. And that leads into streamlining security operations as well, looking into how we're staffing and what we are doing to keep our students and our staff safe on a regular basis. And we were able to streamline some of that as a matter of circumstances and things that happen, and save some money at the same time. We also increased our Hunterdon County Vocational School District students with no increase in NHV staff. So what that means is it's really additional revenue, but it's not revenue because what happens is we get that taken off of our Polytech bill, so it's less expenditures. Make a long story short, we were able to reduce our expenditures because of those Polytech kids and not have to increase our staff in order to do that. As the programs continue to grow, and we have 3 more cohorts coming into our district with the new building, that might change. We might have to add some staff to supplement for that. But again, those costs will be offset by those increased tuitions that we'll be getting from those students in Polytech. When we do reduce staff, we do it through attrition whenever that's possible, meaning that somebody leaves, we look at our numbers, we look at the hard numbers and we make sure that we determine whether or not we have to replace that person. If we don't, then that's a salary we can save instead of having to cut somebody in their 2nd or 3rd or 4th year of employment with us. And then our budget, our building budget requests, the principals can attest to this if you ask them, but we were very hard on them this year. We asked them to look at this budget line by line and really look at every single expenditure that they've had over the last 2 years and determine whether or not they needed that or they needed a reduced amount with that. And because of that, we're able to reduce our building budget requests significantly, and that helped us close our budget back.
So how do we spend our funds in the budget? And this is the district operating budget. So salaries are about 50% of the budget, benefits are 18.5%. So almost 70% of our budget is driven by salaries and benefits. The next largest categories would be, of course, transportation, out-of-district tuition, and then, of course, utilities, purchase services, and other miscellaneous expenditures. And as you can see, the biggest budget driver for us is salaries, which are collectively bargained, and benefits, which we saw a huge increase in this year. So just to touch on enrollment, and again, we talked about Polytech and how it's beneficial to us, but I think it's important to highlight that although our district is seeing overall declining enrollment, you can see our enrollment numbers are stabilized based on the Polytech students attending our buildings. So the total Voorhees enrollment, you can see, is stabilized based on the Environmental Sustainability and Engineering Academy, the Computer Science and Engineering, and the Animal Science program. As you can see in the North enrollment, you can see it stabilized by the North Campus building, the new building that's out here that just started this year, and the Biomedical Sciences Academy. So you can see the small chunks of the bars are kind of helping to sustain the number of students in our building so that we can sustain our staffing. And as we've talked about in the past, state aid, in the past 6 years, we've experienced significant declines in state aid. So although you can see year over year, 25, 26 to 26, 27, it looks fairly stable. You could see the 6 years prior to that were significant reductions. So although one year over another may not be a huge decline, it's still almost 0% increase, which is difficult to sustain with the expenditure increases that we're experiencing. And to touch on health benefits again, you can see the orange line is the state health benefit plan, and the blue line is our North Hunterdon-Voorhees School Health Insurance Fund increase. So as you can see in our current year projection for next year, it's 20% increase for the school's health insurance fund, which is a jointure that we're included in with over 100 districts. So there is successive numbers in comparison to the state health benefit plan, which has experienced over a 30% increase this year. So what that allows us to do is to use a health benefit waiver to raise taxes above the 2% tax levy cap. So again, we've seen this slide before in the past months, but it's describing the fact that we can go above the 2% tax levy cap due to this one-time increase in expenditure of the health benefits. So every district in the state of New Jersey is allowed to use this waiver this year due to that state health benefit plan increasing over 30%. So that's what drives our local tax levy. And as you can see in this chart, you can see the past several years of our tax levy being fairly stable, and this year being a one-year anomaly because of that health benefit increase. And as the state has acknowledged, that health benefit waiver is available to us. So currently our increase is 4.29%. The available increase for our tax levy is 4.6%. The board did ask us in the past month to look and do a deeper dive and see if there was any other way that we could cut any additional funds. So we will be generating bank cap in the amount of $171,975. So we were able to decrease our budget tax levy increase from 4.6 to the 4.29 based on just some additional staffing reductions through the attrition process. So this is a year-over-year revenue comparison. So you can see the local tax levy increase of $2.4 million. Other revenues going down $120,000 due to projected decreases in interest income and also the parking fees that were eliminated. The state aid reduction due to the extraordinary aid reduction that we are projected to experience next year. Small increase in Medicaid reimbursement and also a planned budgeted fund balance reduction of $235,000. So as you can see for the operating budget, the net increase would be the 1.99, almost $2 million. And the other small pieces are federal and state aid revenue and grants, which is just typical of 80% is expected for grant funding and also the debt service that the taxpayers have approved in prior fiscal years. So how does that impact taxes? So the tax share per municipality is based on a regional apportionment chart that we get from the county office, and that's a snapshot date of October 15th of 2025. The two drivers of this chart is the equalized valuation of the municipality and also the number of students that are attending our regional district at that time. So what that does is it takes our total tax levy that we're looking to raise and it allocates it out to all of the 12 municipalities per those two pieces of information. So that chart then flows into what we do, and we calculate our tax rate based on a calendar year instead of the fiscal year that we're looking to raise taxes for next school year. So as you can see on this chart, you can see the 2025 estimated tax versus the 2026 estimated tax. And then we ascertain the average home value from the tax assessor of each municipality, and then you can see the difference expected for an average home in each of those municipalities. So you can see exactly how that's going to impact your municipality where you live. And this will all be available on our website as soon as we're done and the board has approved the budget. So what are the next steps? Tonight's the public hearing and the adoption, so we'll open for public comment and ask the board to approve this budget. Then I will certify taxes to municipal clerks. We will implement the budget on July 1st and make sure everything is available on our district website so that everyone is well aware of this presentation and all of the tax impact. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Katie at this time? Katie, could you just go back to I think it was the last two slides, and just talk through them one more time? Because as you were explaining, I was trying to follow.
So we are a unique district. Most K-8s in this area have one municipality. We have 12 constituent districts, so we have to go through a process of taking our total amount that our district budget needs to go up, which is our total $70 million budget, let's say, and then we radically apportionment between all of the districts. So the county gives us this information, and there's two driving factors of this worksheet, and it's the equalized valuation of the municipality, and it's also the number of students that attend from each of those municipalities. That gives us a regional apportionment for that municipality.
And then that's unique every year?
Yes,
Because of
yes,
students.
that changes every year.
Yep, okay, got it. Thank you.
That is the driving factor to calculating our tax rate for the calendar year of 2026.
Okay. And then you said these were on average home values, basically, for
Yes.
each.
So we asked the tax
municipality.
assessor to give us this information. Instead of saying per 100,000, we say,
Right.
well, what's the average home value in your town, so that it makes a little bit more sense for
Okay.
the average taxpayer.
All right, thank you.
And that's the annual difference in the last column.
Yes, okay, yeah, that's what I was just trying to make sure I understood.
So there can be reductions, again, that's based on this chart. If there are less students attending from that municipality, or perhaps if there was changes in the equalized valuation of other towns, that could shift how the impact in the share is of the other municipalities. So let's say Bethlehem Township had the reassessment. I know their equalized valuation went up, that may impact some of the other towns and actually force them into a negative difference. So that's where some of these, you could see Highbridge is actually going down for 2026 because they could have less students and less equalized valuation in the totality.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Other questions or clarifications for Katie?
I have a question, it's not necessarily on this.
Sure.
It's on the NHV web legal page where we posted the
advertised budget.
The advertised budget.
Mhm.
There was a section there for advertised enrollments, and it's showing current enrollments and an estimated enrollment for October of next year. It's showing an increase of almost 300 students from this year to next year. Is that mainly made up of the cohorts coming from the VOTEC as well as the ESL coming back in? What is that increase?
That is part of the components, and then it's also our projection of any other housing units coming in. We have two that are potentially coming in for September.
We have two that we know will be open for, actually three,
Right.
that we know will be open for September, and then other ones that they're starting now, and there's a possibility that the way the construction paces go, sometimes we might see those kids in October or November. So we have to plan for those for next year.
All right, and we use that number, that estimated number
Yeah.
in our calculations in our plan.
And all that is a projection for the budget software, really, it's just a function of the software. It's really not driving any of the other calculations.
Okay, thank you.
And we use that October 15th date because that's when the state asks us to do a snapshot.
All right, if there are no other clarifying questions at this time, we do have our first opportunity for public comment. During this portion of the meeting, the public is invited to address the board with comments on the 2026-27 school year budget. You are requested to sign the register provided and to state your name, municipality of residence, group affiliation if applicable, and direct your comments to the school board president. So just officially, this is comments on the budget. We will have a additional opportunity for public comment generally later on the agenda.
Good evening, members of the board. I'm Amy Barrett, and I live in Highbridge. I'm a senior citizen, and yes, I'm concerned about property taxes, but I also appreciate the value of our excellent schools. Both of my adult children graduated from Voorhees. My daughter was well prepared for college when she took AP classes and honors classes. She was very involved in drama club for 4 years. My son had an IEP, and he got strong support through special services, through pull-out classes, counseling, and he was a member of the wrestling team, which really boosted his self-esteem. In addition to my own children, I taught for 17 years at Union Township Middle School, and I've really proud as I've seen those students move to North and hear about their accomplishments in academics, in sports, in drama, in music, in volunteer opportunities. And even in the last 4 years, 3 of my students were the student reps to this board for North. I hope that teenagers in our community in the coming years get the same educational and extracurricular opportunities. And that's why I come to board meetings. I know that this is a really challenging year for the budget. I know that that's true across New Jersey and certainly in Hunterdon County. Healthcare costs, transportation costs. Every school I've heard of is raising their budget, raising their tax levy above the 2% cap, some above 5%. I feel like we have to trust our administration and their expertise, particularly our longtime business administrator, has the ability to has made some good decisions in balancing containing costs with not cutting programs and services. So I support the board in adopting this budget. Thank you.
Any additional public comment?
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Marlene Baldinger. Most importantly, I'm a parent of a sophomore Biomed Academy student, and I'm also the council president for Lebanon Borough, and I did come and speak to you a couple months ago. So I just wanted to say, I'm going to echo, we love the district, we love the school, everything. The teachers are outstanding, no complaints. It really is the jewel in the crown of Hunterdon County, our district, so I congratulate everyone. I do want to say that just looking at cost, because it is something that does come up at our budget meetings when we get our tax bills are due in a couple days, and about 70% of our taxes, our property taxes, go towards the schools. Lebanon Borough is one of your 12 districts. We we're number 2 as far as the amount of money that's paid per student. If you don't know Lebanon Borough, 1 square mile, just about, celebrating our 100th anniversary on this year. So it's a great place to live. But it's $1.8 million is a lot of money for a small district. And we have about maybe 28% of our families send students to the school. We have 44 students. And so we're paying close to $40,000 per student. Now, as a parent, my older daughter's graduating college, and as I said, my younger one is here, it is worth every penny. As I attend, and I do go to the school board meetings locally as well, previously someone said, hey, $40,000, we could send our kids to Pingree for that. Okay, so I think that it really is important, from a perspective as a board, to hear what the residents and the voters have to say, in particular those that live in Lebanon Borough, because those are the people that I represent. And I'm just going to ask for the names. I mean, I see the names there, but just to say, Brian Chapman. Okay, hi, Brian. And Stephen Matthews. He's not here. Okay, Cynthia Reyes and Daniel Spanton. So hi, I want to really encourage all of you to come to our school board meetings. We have our Lebanon Borough School Board meetings, to come to our council meeting, to hear what some of the issues are that are important to our residents, our communities, our community, our students. It really is important. We do see people signs up periodically every couple of years when there's an election, but it really is appreciated when we get to see you. And see you come to our meetings and show you want to hear not just what I'm saying as one parent. We have, like I said, 20% of our residents are senior citizens, and as I go around and campaign, they're complaining about their tax bills. So I think you guys are the best ambassadors, as well as our students. So again, I do encourage you to come to our meetings. Again, and just from a state support standpoint. My daughter spoke to Governor Murphy a couple times when she was freshman class president last year. She just had a conversation with Governor Mikey Sherrill. It was on the radio, so there's proof. We have the evidence. She does talk about North Hunterdon very proudly, and Governor Sherrill committed to coming to North Hunterdon High School to talk about our cell phone policy, our Vote 16. Her chief of Department of Education already called Ava, my daughter, and we're working with Dr. Cottrell and Dr. Berjaks to schedule this. So I think the more, and then I'm sure when she comes, other people, our sending district representatives will come, our legislators from the Assembly and the Senate will come as well. And I think there's nothing better than putting the spotlight on this phenomenal district. And so we're doing our part, and I just appreciate, again, your support to come in and show our community and all the other districts that it is important, our voters and what we have to say. So I thank you for all you do.
Thank you. If you, we met a week ago in our working session, and I will say there is a lot of discussion about the importance of connecting and communicating with our sending districts and our municipalities. We recently had our first roundtable of all the board presidents once again. I know in my previous stint when I was on the Clinton-Glen Gardner Borough, we worked very closely with your municipality. I think all districts are looking for shared solutions and bold ideas, including conversations with municipalities in the state, and you'll see some evidence of action in that direction tonight and certainly going forward. So thank you for coming out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any additional public comment at this time? Okay, I will, close public comment. I need a call for a motion and second to approve Resolution 042826-4, adopting the 2026-27 school year budget and establishing maximum travel expenditures and maximum professional services expenditures. Can I get that motion? Nicole, I saw it. Dan, I saw it. Okay, sorry, Brian, I'll get to you, I promise. Comments, questions, clarifications? All right. I would just certainly like to commend everybody's work here. I know we had a couple of months of conversation. It's always challenging. Everybody wants to do what's right and best for the constituents. They certainly want to do what's right and best for the students, as we see over and over each month. We recognize that the decisions we make are often complicated and challenging, and coming to this task is never an easy one. So I commend all of you for the work. I commend the administration for the work that they put into it as well. And certainly just want to see continued success on behalf of the district. So
I just want to echo that, a thanks to the team that put the budget together and for taking what we said and going back and looking for those additional cuts for us, because that probably wasn't a very easy thing to do, and it's probably very time consuming for you. So I appreciate you taking what we said and running with it and finding that for us and for our constituents.
Okay, we will move to a roll call vote.
Ms. Ayers?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Hanley?
Yes.
Ms. Hinz?
Yes.
Mr. Lordy?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews is absent. Ms. Mezzacapa?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
Mr. Spanton?
Yes.
Ms. Stein?
Yes.
And Mr. McIsaac?
Yes,
Thank you. Motion carries.
thank you very much. Thanks. All right, we are moving to our Chief School Administrator's report.
All right, I'm used to being a little bit earlier than this. Give me 1 second to get together. All right, first let me go over my my report. We have some great things going on in the district. I want to say congratulations to the Voorhees High School cast of Into the Woods. We heard a little bit about the show. For those of you who got to see it, it was phenomenal. But they had also an amazing run at the Bucks County Playhouse Student Theater Festival. Students earned multiple honors, including the Moment in the Woods Award for Emily Dennis, the Spellbinding Performance Award for Mason Chen, and the John Tartaglia Award for Puppetry for Joanna McDonald. And most impressively, the entire cast was recognized with the Outstanding Ensemble Award, which is the highest recognition you can get. So that was, not only did they impress at school and on stage, but they impressed in our region as well.
And I want to know more about puppetry now.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Well,
Jim Henson, watch
for
out.
those that saw the show, it
great.
was, the cow into the woods, and, it's all fairy tale stuff. And it was fascinating to see how they controlled that puppet. It was really cool. Yeah. Our VHS Jazz Ensemble, under the direction of Aidan Gianelli, was selected as one of just 17 high school bands statewide to perform at the 29th Annual Moonglowers Jazz Festival. The group delivered an outstanding performance, with junior Hank Lukash earning recognition as an outstanding soloist. Additionally, saxophone section, led by Ava Frelay, was named both Outstanding Section and Overall Outstanding Saxophone Section of the evening. So congratulations to all of those students. North Hunterdon Show Choir earned a gold ranking at the 34th Annual Roxbury Choir Invitational among a highly competitive field of 13 schools. Congratulations to the entire choir and to Mrs. Fonseca on this accomplishment. We're also proud that Sheridan District was recently named as an honorary member of the National Technical Honor Society in recognition of our continued partnership and support of career and technical education programs throughout Hunterdon County. And for those that want to see it, our frame certificate is upstairs in the district office, but it was a great ceremony. It was held in the Little Theater at Hunterdon Central. I was able to attend and be a part of it, and I didn't actually realize we were going to have to get up and accept an award, but so our district is now part of the National Technical Honor Society, which is great. Good recognition and shows our partnership with Polytech. The career fairs, the students did a better job than I would do talking about it, but we had them at both schools, and I do want to just thank all the businesses, local and non-local, that came out to be there and answer questions for our students. It's just a great opportunity. It's a gym full of, potential recruiters, but people from industry and all different types of industry talking to students about what potential careers they can go into. And it's just a great opportunity for students to talk to the people that are in the field when they're trying to figure out what they want to do after high school. So, and then both schools again did their Take Your Child to Work Day. I won't talk any more about it because the students did a great job of both of it, but I do want to call out the staff. We couldn't have the Take Your Child to Work days that we have at each one of our buildings without our staff running it. There's so many staff members that are involved in each school. It's not Take Your Child to Work Day like I remember it, which is, you go to work with your mom and dad and you just hang out at their desk and watch what's going on. There's activities going on throughout the day, and those activities are run by students and staff members all throughout the day. Coordinating it, Mary Beth Breff at Voorhees and Kristen Barada at North Hunterdon, they do a great job of coordinating that, and without their efforts, none of it would happen, but they have a lot of help with other staff members. So thank you to all the staff members that helped with that and made it possible. Both North Hunterdon and Voorhees students participated in the Music Mountain Theater's inaugural Drama and Performing Arts Conference, as well as the Bucks County Playhouse Student Theater Festival. North Hunterdon students brought home numerous awards, including Best Production, Best Male Lead for Max Sklar, Best Dynamic Duo for Max Sklar and Gianna Marina, and Best Spotlight Performance for everybody. So congratulations to all of them. Northgate hosts their 22nd annual Prism Concert. The event showcased the incredible talents of our student musicians and served as the largest fundraiser for the North Hunterdon Music Association. It was a great evening for everybody who was able to attend it. It was just a fantastic show, and our students are just so talented, and seeing that in person is inspiring. And then earlier in the spring, upper-level Latin students at Voorhees joined 100,000 other students from all 50 states and 26 international countries participating in a national Latin exam. 2 of our students earned high achievements. For Latin 2, Kenzie Flood earned a Maxima Cum Laude, silver medal. And for Latin 3, Christopher Carlucci earned an honorable cum laude. And in addition, this past Saturday, 37 school districts from across the state came together to compete in academic, athletic, artistic, creative, and performance-based contests at the New Jersey Junior Classical League State Convention. The Classical League State Convention is for Latin. And it was at Gateway Regional High School. And all in all, they didn't list all the awards, but Voorhees won 25 awards all in total at that event. On Saturday, April 25th as well, 37 school districts from across the state came to, I'm sorry, that was the same thing. And congratulations to North Hunterdon students Lucy Sklar and Eric Beswick for being recognized and receiving plaques at the Skyline Conference Scholar Athlete Luncheon for the Carl Wigner Scholar Athlete Award. And I think that was on Wednesday or Thursday this week. So lots going on still, and it's going to get even busier as the spring comes about. Strategic planning, I did want to give a quick report on strategic planning in regards to, we had our meeting on April 14th with our Strategic Planning Advisory Committee. We talked a lot about the budget again and the impact that would have on the schools and how that would impact our activities. We talked about the constraints that we have. We also talked about the support of the board. And I think, it's one of those things that for me to say it is important that, to let our staff know that the board is supporting, the budget, but I didn't have to. They actually brought it to my attention. They said if they were watching some of the presentations, they thought it was great how the board asked great questions, but that ultimately they appreciate the support. So thank you, and I think the committee appreciated that as well. We talked about our Future Ready Committee and establishing our definitions for AI-powered instruction, and also using our continuum of like a red, yellow, green to manage AI. Red, no AI at all. Green, have at it. And yellow is you can use it but within certain constraints, and that just gives a nice clear definition of what students can or can't use AI for. And we also talked about professional development and how the new AI tools that we were able to identify this year, we want to make sure at the beginning of the school year next year, we'll make sure we have a presentation from our IT department or other teachers as well that will talk about how they use these AI tools and make sure that all of our teachers have the ability to understand how to use them and then implement them in their curriculums. We talked about our board staff spotlight, which I'm going to mention in a minute. We also talked about our bell-to-bell cell phone policy, which that is changing sort of as we speak. I mean, it's still bell-to-bell, but there's some different opinions coming out there as everything, when legislation comes out, everyone interprets it a different way, and we'll see where it ends up, but we're looking for some guidance on that as it comes out. And we also talked about the Emerging Leader program that has been started at each one of our schools. And if you remember, that is a program where it's teacher-led, but it's basically teachers that want to be leaders. They don't necessarily want to be administrators, but they want to be leaders within their department, within their content area, or of a school. They might want to aspire to be a supervisor or principal. And they're working on coming up with their impact projects now, which basically each one of them will determine what their impact project is going to be. It'll be something that will improve our school, or one of our schools, and then they will work on an impact project throughout the year, present it at the end of the year, and that's the idea for the Emerging Leader program. And then we talked about the master schedule and some of the things coming up with that as well. And then for our staff spotlights, I did want to highlight the people that we have. So can you put that up for me? So this is the second month for as a reminder, we're doing a BOE staff spotlight. So this is an opportunity for this board to recognize an individual at each school. The Strategic Planning Advisory Committee talks about who they feel is eligible for this award. We also talk to our student board reps. And then when we present this award to the staff member, we ask our student board reps to come with us. So as they are your representation of the board, to present this award to the staff members, instead of asking the staff member who's already doing a lot of extra work and a lot of extra things to come out for a night to be recognized, we try to do it in their environment. And it actually has been great, because we walk in their classroom, Katie always joins us as well, and it's been great to, the kids love it, the teachers love it, they all do their thing. So, G, if you want to go to Michelle Byron, is a special education teacher at North Hunterdon. And I've known Michelle for many years, and she's well deserved this award. But it is with great enthusiasm that we honor Michelle Byron for the April Staff Recognition Award. Over the course of her 17 years in education, Michelle has consistently demonstrated a sincere commitment to her students, her colleagues, and the district. Michelle currently serves as the lead teacher of the North Hunterdon Special Education Department, a role she performs with unwavering dedication and skill. Beyond her classroom responsibilities, she serves as an invaluable mentor to new staff members, guiding them through the complexities of being a special education teacher while helping them build a strong foundation in their careers. Her leadership within the department sets a standard of excellence for all. Furthermore, Michelle's impact extends far beyond the traditional classroom setting. She is the driving force behind our inclusive initiatives running the North Hunterdon Unified Program. Michelle helps create a welcoming, equitable environment where students of all abilities can connect, compete, and thrive together. Her passion for inclusivity has deeply enriched our school and community culture. Michelle is a proactive leader at the district level. She has consistently volunteered her time to serve on various district committees focused on school improvement, and her insights and collaborative spirit on these committees have been vital in shaping policies and practices that benefit our entire educational community. Michelle Byron is a tremendous asset to our school and the North Hunterdon community, and her 17 years of experience, along with her tireless advocacy for special education and her participation in school improvement, make her the ideal candidate for this month's honor. So thank you, Michelle Byron. And that presentation was a lot of fun. We had a couple classrooms all came in, and it was like this big group and stuff. All right, on to boardies. Beth Stocker. I have known Beth Stocker longer than I've known Michelle Byron, because Beth has been here for 28 years. But Beth, actually, I've been here so long. I remember when Beth was at North Hunterdon as a teacher, and she is now at Voorhees, and has been at Voorhees, I think, since 2003. So that feels like a long time. But this month, we're incredibly proud to recognize and celebrate the outstanding contributions of Beth Stocker. Throughout her time in the district, she has served as a dedicated educator, mentor, and coach. As a proud graduate of North Hunterdon High School, she has demonstrated a deep and lasting commitment to our school community. Over the past 28 years, she has built a remarkable career, leaving a meaningful impact on staff, students, and the community. In the classroom, Beth has been impactful as a dedicated special education teacher, consistently going above and beyond to support her students. She continuously gives of her time to meet with students outside the classroom, offering extra support, encouragement, and guidance. Her compassion and dedication truly make a difference every day. Her impact is further reflected in her exceptional versatility, having taught math, English, science, and study skills while also playing an integral role in developing the district's reading program. Beyond her work with students, she has served as a mentor to new staff members, generously sharing her decades of experience and knowledge. Through this mentorship, she has helped shape and support the next generation of teachers, extending her positive influence well beyond her own classroom. In addition to Beth's excellence in the classroom, she has led the Voorhees field hockey program to success. Ms. Stocker took over as the Voorhees High School field hockey coach in 2003, ushering in an era of sustained excellence and competitive dominance for the Vikings. In her 8 years as head coach, she compiled 5 Skyland Conference Division titles, 3 Hunterdon Warren championships, 1 Hunterdon Warren Sussex championship, 1 North 2 sectional title in 2006, a career record of 130 wins, 29 losses, and 7 ties. She was recognized as Coach of the Year by both the Star Ledger and Courier News, and guided the program to its 500th victory. So, again, another well-deserved employee, and we thank her for all of her.
Will those go out as part of a broader, whether it's a board or district communication to the community?
Yeah, they're all going to be part of our newsletters.
That's
pretty much all of our newsletters will go out.
Okay.
They'll be part of it, yes. So when we have our district newsletter that goes out this spring, they'll be part of it. And then also we have a staff newsletter that goes out that we're trying to incorporate, again, more board stuff into our staff newsletter so that they all understand what's going on.
And then both the staff spotlight and the emerging leaders, are those part of sort of that one plank of the strategic plan in terms of staff culture and support and all that?
School climate
Yes, okay.
and yeah, staff, supporting our staff, basically coming up with programs that they feel like they're a part of our district and they are contributing, and then recognizing those contributions.
Thank you. Brian? And then Rich.
Rich, just remind me, the Strategic Planning Advisory Committee is composed of staff?
Yes, so teachers and administrators, actually we have one IT member and some child study,
okay.
yeah, so all educational staff.
And you mentioned that you're waiting for guidance on the cell phone policy. Is that from the DOE or the Department of Education that you're waiting for guidance?
Yeah, so the legislation has come out, we're actually waiting for guidance. We actually, school board sent us just last week a model policy, but there's some things that have come out since then that before we enact a policy, we want to make sure that we get the full understanding of how we're going to do this. And there's some interpretation on how this should impact a K-8 environment versus a high school environment. And that's one of the things that we're trying to discern right now. It says bell to bell, right? So that means as soon as the school day starts until the school day ends. The argument now is, does that include non-instructional time, lunchtime, things like that? So
what I'm asking about is, do you feel like you're on your own here?
No.
Or is the DOE or school boards or somebody kind of working this?
The legislation, we're not on our own. The legislation is out there, and in my opinion, it's pretty clear. I thought they did it, for once the state did a great job of telling us exactly what they expect, right? And now comes the interpretation of how it should impact a first grader versus an 11th grader, right? And I think that's the discussions that we're having. And not on my own either. I met twice now already, and we have a standing meeting, I don't remember when the next one is, with all the superintendents from Hunterdon County. We also had a superintendent from Pembroke who jumped in as well, because we're all talking about how we're going to accomplish this. And some schools are saying we're going to go back to lockers. Some schools have taken out their lockers and put in different areas, right? So you don't have the lockers for students to have. Other schools that are really small are saying we're just going to collect them all at the beginning of the school day and give them back at the end of the school day. And there's hurdles with all of those solutions. So we're working with our principals, with all of our with our staff members as well on strategic planning advisory committee and other committees as well. I know both schools are meeting with their faculty advisory committees as well to talk about how we're going to enforce this and make sure it's enforced consistently. That's the biggest challenge, is making sure that it's consistent.
Rich?
Just the strategic plan, we're about a year into that now?
We'll be coming up on 1 year. So it's a 5-year plan that we started at the beginning of this school year and we're finishing.
I'm just looking at the board goals here, developing an online dashboard for public updates. Are we thinking about kind of having a year in, like, this is where some of these goals stand, some of them may be complete, some of them we've accomplished this, we're going here. Are we thinking of any kind of update for maybe accountability with the public per the strategic?
There will be, actually. There'll be an end-of-year wrap-up. Actually, our Strategic Planning Advisory Committee in May, we're dedicating entirely to looking at the actions that we've taken so far as a committee and throughout our schools and determining what progress has been made not only towards the goals, but also towards the strategic plan itself. And then that will be what we'll report as the annual report.
Okay.
So that would probably be
post that to the website or something. We'll put that out to the public.
Yeah, the idea of the dashboard, I know we talked about that a lot, and I looked at a lot of examples of that, and we can come up with a dashboard. What the dashboard really says is, here's a goal, here's an objective, what percentage have we accomplished? And really, it's whatever percentage you put in there. It's sort of
I mean, as long as we're just putting something on it.
Yeah.
Per se, I don't know if it needs to be a dashboard, but I think it would be worthwhile to put it out to the public, where we stand.
Yep.
Well, I know, one of the things that I think we definitely leaned into more this year was getting all of the presentations pertaining to the budget. We were getting them up on the website. That was a piece of feedback we got in a way that we wanted to make more information available. I think to both points, I don't know if it's something that we feel gets more eyeballs sitting on a website or is part of a district communication that I know we're doing a couple of times a year. I know you tend to update, more or less every meeting or every other meeting, you're kind of bringing us up to speed. I don't know if there's a potential marriage between the two and something that we can put it on the website, but I think if we put it there too, people are seeing it there.
But there's gonna be a compilation at the end of year one to look at progress,
Okay.
determine what
Yeah,
we've
that's
done, and then how we communicate that, we can come up with we'll probably communicate that in multiple ways, so.
Okay.
Last but not least, I did want to just mention our attendance data, because that was something we focused on this year as a policy. So in the month of March, North Hunterdon had 298 less absences this year than they did in the previous year. Voorhees had 247 less than they did last year at the same time. Those numbers aren't as drastic as we've seen in other months, but we're starting to creep into spring fever, so I wouldn't get, overall though, Voorhees is still at 4.4% absentee rate, and North is at 5.63. Those are, well below. We were 14% at North, and I think almost 24% at Voorhees last year. So we've significant drops. The attendance policy has had an impact, and some of the negative things that we worried about, we haven't seen, and we've been addressing those on a case-by-case basis. So I think we've been helping students, helping families, and holding students accountable, and I think all in all, it's been a success. So we'll probably have one more month of reporting on that. It'll be good.
Maybe we can put that on the dashboard.
There you go. Yeah,
Dan, did you have a
exactly.
question?
No.
Brian?
I do think we shouldn't take our foot off the pedal in keeping parents informed about what those rules are.
Yeah.
Right, it's not, your kid is deathly ill, but send them in anyways because, you don't want to hit that pump. You can have things excused when it's properly excused.
And we've had a lot of those conversations this year. And I would say that's what that is about, is that just that communication, that honest communication with the parents that are worried that, oh my God, we're almost at this threshold and I'm going to send them to school even though they are sick. We've said, don't do that. We're okay with that. We want you to keep your child home. We want them to be healthy. But we also don't want you to, every Monday, if somebody has a bellyache, not send them in.
Right.
I know there's often
It's a balance.
a counseling communication that seems to go home periodically, and I don't know if that's part of their practice, and I don't know if that's a potential vehicle. What I'm taking from what you said, Brian, is if we're reaching that time of the year, it's almost just a reminder of the policy, like these things are
Reminder, but I'm
still
also
in place.
thinking into next year,
Yeah.
we had maybe a little bit of a bumpy launch to it, and so we could take a moment over the summer to make sure it's a solid, clear guidance sent out at the beginning of the school year next year.
Absolutely.
But it does seem to be working, so
Yeah.
kudos to the idea.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, is
All
that
right.
it for yours?
Yep, now we are up to,
I think I have a call for the HIP.
yeah, so as far as the HIBs for this month that I need to report to you, there were 4 HIB cases since the last time we met. All 4 of those were unfounded, all 4 of those were at Voorhees. And I believe all 4 of those were related, actually. So,
Right.
So that's what I'm reporting to you tonight, that you will affirm next month. And then there is the HIB 10.2 for the ones that were reported to you last month. So
Right. Yep. Could I get a call for a motion second to affirm the determinations on the HIB incidents reported at the March 24th, 2026 board meeting? Can I get that motion? Andrew, thank you. Second, Nicole, I think I saw. A voice vote, all in favor? Aye. Opposed or abstentions? None? Okay.
And that's all I have. I don't know if I have the resolution.
Well,
You
let
can
me,
read whatever you want.
yeah, let me hit this and then we'll go. So the first thing I'd like to draw attention to is, I'll open it. Can I get a call for a motion and a second to approve Resolution 042826-5, urging greater transparency, predictability, and full funding of New Jersey's school funding formula? Can I get a motion? Dan, thank you. Second on that. Meryl, thank you. But I do actually want to thank Tara. As you know, as part of our conversation of the challenges that all districts face when it comes to budgeting, one of the additional challenges we don't need is a lack of clarity and transparency on the part of the state. Also to be operating with a funding formula that is never actually fully funded. Kudos to Tara to taking the initiative and sort of pulling that conversation together in a resolution. We presented it initially last week. I know Katie had an opportunity to look at it as well and really commended the strength of it. And it may become something that gets shared a little more broadly, and hopefully we can begin to start some conversation among districts who are all in the same boat as far as this goes and are just looking for that same sort of clarity and reliability in terms of what funding is going to be. So I just want to preface that as a way of thanking you, Tara. Open up the floor to any other questions, conversations. I know we had an opportunity to see it last week, and so here's our opportunity. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions? All right, let's send it off into the world.
Yeah, and if the legislature and that are coming here on other things, this is perfect timing to present also.
Thank you. Next, I know I provided you with an update of the board's self-evaluation and CSA evaluation. So I think I had given approximate 2-week window asking folks to get in, log in, do that evaluation. If you recall, that information will all get compiled. By our next meeting, we might have an opportunity to see the compilations from which we sort of shape that into the final recommendations to Dr. Burgess, and then that will culminate in a meeting with him as far as identifying areas of strength, areas of growth, and then for ourselves, the things that we are recognizing in our own operations, what we're doing well, what we would potentially like to improve upon, to suggest some possible board goals going forward. I want to thank Tara once again, who was able to pull up the draft goals that were designed at the end of last year. And it's not to say that, there's no reason that any of these goals cannot continue or take sort of a different focus or shape in the year going forward. I know when we had some conversation about it last week, there were things that we could point to and say, all right, we've definitely moved on some of these things. But certainly with communications and efforts with strategic planning, those tend to become multi-year kinds of undertakings as well. So thank you once again for that, Tara. That's why I asked that it be printed for us tonight. If you tuned in last week, you heard about our conversations with our constituent districts. It was a great relaunch of an initiative that had run for a number of years. I think a great opportunity to network among the districts to kind of hear the challenges that each district is facing, not only budgetary, but in terms of all of the ways that they're trying to be responsible stewards of their program, look for efficiencies, partnering on things. There was the conversations regarding the regionalization study, which is sent from us in the process of being approved. I think we have 4 or 5 districts at this point who have partnered on with us, but we've left the door open to the other districts as they have those conversations to see if they want to be a part of that study as well. And again, something I articulated to those districts, we just felt it was the fiscally responsible thing for us to do as a district, to be looking at all options for the financial stability and success of all of our districts going forward. So I will keep you posted on that work. I think we're anticipating, hopefully, having one more meeting before the school year ends, but I'll keep you sort of apprised of that as well. We have our next 2 meetings. May 19th is our work session. May 26th is our regular meeting. And as we mentioned last week, we have our June 16th graduation ceremonies. Dr. Burgess sort of briefly went over the participation opportunities that we have and sort of the transportation mechanisms to get the participating folks from Voorhees down to North. I know we have a number of staff members who are going to have seniors graduating this year, so that's always a nice affirmation of the work that you're doing. And I know at some point, I think some communications start to come out to us about logistics, gowns, and things like that.
Yeah, it's coming very shortly.
Okay.
I think it's already out.
Oh, it is?
I'm pretty
Okay,
sure
maybe I missed it.
They might have gotten something out, yeah, but
Yeah.
Okay.
we'll make
At
sure.
least for a list about gowns.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
The gowns, I think, yes, that might have came from,
Yeah, gowns came out.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is that just for new?
Maybe that's just for new, you Because they wanted to know how tall they were, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we're on record.
Yeah, they
Oh,
said that once they get the information, they keep it on file, so.
Got it.
Yeah, and I think they have a gown for everybody. They order a gown for everybody.
Okay.
So that there'll be a gown there if you decide the day before graduation that you want to attend now, it's there.
Got it. Okay, awesome. Brian?
Just comment that, that day is also a working session day. Does that
Is it?
raise any
Yes.
Oh,
alarms?
as far as one of our working meetings, our board working.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, there's no overlap, but just bringing it up.
No, but I mean, I don't, it's a good.
It depends on how many people want to be celebrating with their families on that day as a result of
Yeah,
graduation.
I feel like we had maybe about 3 or 4 folks who were potentially going to be graduating. I don't know if that's
So
something to look at, or.
I did see that, but I didn't get concerned yet, but you know what, maybe we can put a survey out.
Yeah, and kind of see. Yeah,
I'm gonna be away.
okay. I think, and I would ask that we look at that to see
Yeah.
if we can move. I mean, if folks are celebrating their kids that day,
Absolutely.
I don't want to have them feel compelled to sort of
Agreed.
come back. They're celebrating the work that they've done and their kids have done. All right, so if we can push out a survey on that to see about the possibility of shifting that to make it work better for everybody.
Okay.
All right, any other questions or comments? This brings us to our official opportunity for public comment. During this portion of the meeting, the public is invited to address the Board of Education with comments. You are requested to sign the register provided and state your name, municipality of residence, group affiliation if applicable, and direct your comments to the school board president. While all comments will be considered by the Board of Education and a response may be forthcoming if and when appropriate, individual school board members may not respond to the speakers at the time of their appearance. The public comment period will be a maximum of 30 minutes in length unless there are unusual circumstances. You'll be allocated 3 minutes to speak, and no one will be permitted to speak more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard. Please keep your comments respectful and non-defamatory and maintain the level of decorum appropriate for a public meeting where students may be present and in the audience. Do we have anybody who would like to come up and speak at this time?
Harlan Ettinger. I'm a resident of Highbridge. And as we've heard already this evening from our student representatives and our superintendent, the performing arts enrich the climate and culture of our 2 high schools and of the communities they serve. The Friday night performance of Into the Woods that I attended at Voorhees this month was much more than an enjoyable evening of musical theater performed at a very high level. It was also a celebration of our community, a celebration of individual talent and commitment in joyful collaboration among student performers, student backstage contributors, including Sam Orr, who was the student stage manager, and the family, friends, and others in the audience, because live theater is a collaboration among the performers and the audience. This celebration was enabled by Voorhees administrators, teachers, and staff, and especially by the faculty advisors who guided the 33 students who appeared on stage, the 16 student musicians who played in the pit, and the score of students backstage and behind the scenes who made the magic happen on cue. This printed program names them and many others in our community who contributed directly to the show or who otherwise supported the production. This brilliant constellation of stars revolves around the director, Nancy Lomas Reynolds, and the producer, Joseph Reynolds. Nancy and Joe have engaged, encouraged, inspired, and loved many hundreds of Voorhees students as teachers and as advisors to the Voorhees High School Drama Club. Please give them a round of applause.
Any additional public comment?
Karen Gove. Highbridge, speaking as a resident, not a school board member. I just wanted to mention, I'm really proud of this board for embracing the board of the whole. Doing a really great job, I think. But I do want to comment that you are the only school board in the county that has only one public comment section. So I can speak at the beginning of the meeting, make a comment, and then all sorts of things happen, and then I gotta wait a month before I can come back and address it, and by then it's kind of late. So please add a second public comment section at the end of your meeting. Thank you.
Any additional public comment? All right, we'll move into curriculum instruction and technology. Can I get a call for a motion and second to approve agenda items 13.1 through 13.4? Can I get a motion? Tara, thank you. Second, Dan. Obviously, we went over these items last week. Any additional questions or clarifications? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions? No? All right, so we'll move into policy, school security. Can I get a call for a motion second to approve agenda item 14.1? Can I get a motion? Rich, thank you. Can I get a second? Nicole, thank you. Again, updated and clarified in last week's working session. Any additional questions or clarifications?
I just did want to mention, we did add the statement for confidentiality to the SAC job description as well. It did not,
that's right.
It did not show up in red line, but it is there. Just want you to be aware.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, yes, Cynthia, I remember you pointing that out. Any additional questions or clarifications? All in favor? Aye. Opposed or abstentions? All right, finance, facilities, transportation, a call for a motion and second to approve agenda items 15.1 through 15.9. Can I get a motion? Dan, thank you. Can I get a second? Brian, thank you. I know, Katie, you had walked through this last week. I know some items are updated. I didn't know if there was anything in particular you wanted to draw our attention to. Otherwise, I know it was items that were all presented in the working session.
Yes, I think the only thing just to note is the grant of easement. We did get legal opinion and legal approval. Architects, engineers, everyone has blessed that grant of easement. And again, Elizabethtown is gracious enough to absorb the cost of getting that gas line from the road all the way up to 3 meters on the property. So just a big thank you to them.
That's great.
Okay. All right. Any additional questions or clarifications at this point? All right. All in favor? Aye. Abstentions? Opposed?
Brendan, on 15.5, I'm a no on 21.0624. On 15.7, I'm a no, and on 15.9, I'm abstaining.
Okay. Any other notes?
I abstain from 15.7 and 15.1.
All right. Any other notes? Community relations, student affairs, delegates reports. I don't know what we have on that
Well,
front.
delegate assembly is May 16th, and Stephen is our voting delegate, but he's going to be traveling, so I'll be the alternate. And if you go onto your New Jersey School Board's website and go into the delegates, the handbook is published now, so you can review that for the 16th. And then just for our Hunterdon County School Board Association, we have our last meeting of the year, which is our dinner at the Mountain View Chalet, and it's going to be awarding the Hunterdon County Teacher of the Year, as well as other milestones from board members throughout the county for their new board certificate, 10 years, 15 years. We have a 20-year certified board members, master board members, and then there's one certified board leader that's in our district here. So I hope you guys can all make it for Thursday night at 6. And that's that.
All right. Thank you very much.
What was our date?
It's this Thursday. Yeah, come on out. It's gonna be a great evening. There's a lot of awards, so. Hope to see y'all there. Yeah, yeah, right?
Good night. Can
Parents
I,
are vice president.
that's right. Can I get a call for a motion and second to adopt Resolution 042826-3 for an executive session to discuss matters reflected in the attached resolution? The board expects to be in executive session for approximately 30 minutes, and upon return to public session, action will be taken. Can I get a motion? Andrew, thank you. Can I get a second? Andrea, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? All right, we'll be back. For a motion and a second to reconvene public session, can I get a motion? Brian, thank you. Can I get a second? Nicole, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? I would like to call for a motion to add the following resolution as 20.4. Whereas on April 28th, 2026, the parent of a student in the North Hunterdon-Voorhees Regional School District, whose name is on file in the superintendent's office, appeared before the North Hunterdon-Voorhees Regional School District Board of Education for a hearing as scheduled in response to the parent's request for a hearing regarding a harassment, intimidation, and bullying decision involving the student, and the parent was represented by legal counsel during the hearing before the board, and whereas the hearing held on April 28, 2026, the board considered the evidence and arguments presented by the parent and the parent's attorney and the evidence presented by the district's administration and or staff members, and whereas the board has determined that the HIB decision reached and issued by the district's anti-bullying staff members following the HIB investigation conducted in accordance with board policy, which was affirmed by the superintendent, should be affirmed by the board. And now therefore be it resolved that the HIB decision of the district's anti-bullying staff members, which was affirmed by the superintendent, is hereby affirmed by the board, and written notice of the board's HIB decision shall be issued to the parent within 5 school days. Can I get that motion? Andrew, can I get a second? Brian, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Oppose, abstentions? All right, now we have,
Yeah, you just added it, right?
yes, we just added it, so now we have a call for a motion and a second to approve agenda items 20.1 to 20.4 and to include hand carries if provided. Roll call vote. Oh, motion, sorry, thank you. Motion first. Dan, second. Rich, thank you. Now, roll call vote.
Ms. Ayers?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Handley?
Yes.
Ms. Hibb?
Yes.
Mr. Lordy?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews? Is absent. Ms. Mezakappa?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Abstain.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Ms. Stein?
Yes.
And Mr. McIsaac?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
All right. Old and new business. Are there any items that folks would like to bring forward, old or new business?
I have one, Brendan.
Okay.
From last meeting, on the agenda, I had misread it at the time of the meeting. So had I not done that, and obviously I checked with the NJSBA and I can't go back and change votes, but I did misread the agenda. So had I not done that, on 11.1.1, I would have voted yes.
Okay.
What's that? Just be clear, it's from 324 to.
Correct, yeah,
Okay.
from last month's meeting,
Yes.
324. On
Okay.
11.1.1, I would have voted yes. And then on 17.1, specifically 2.1.1, I would have voted no.
Can you repeat that one more time?
What was the second one? 17?
On 17.1, inside of that, it was 2.1.1. I would have voted no, had I not misread the agenda.
Okay, thank you. Additional new or old business? All right, one item I will bring up is, I know in Dr. Burgess's communication, there was the information regarding the Bloomsbury, the addition of the Bloomsbury board member. And that is an item that will be up for discussion next month. I believe, if you recall, I don't remember what month it was, we voted to accept Bloomsbury as one of our sending districts. And part of the work that came from that was legally they were going to have to look into what representation would look like. Dr. Burgess shared with us, I believe it was your report of last week.
It was last week's weekly report.
Weekly
Just
report.
for the board.
Yeah.
And then that will come to you at the public meeting in May. Bloomsbury will be passing that resolution, a mirror resolution for their district at their May meeting. And And then we're going to have representatives here from Bloomsbury, their attorney and also their board president, and I believe their superintendent will be here to answer any questions this board has in regards to how that would impact us.
Right. So I would just draw your attention, do look at that, read it. We have obviously the next month to sort of, get at our understandings of the implications of that. And then, we will have folks here next month to sort of address it more directly. When we moved to accept Bloomsbury as a constituent district, that essentially kicked off a chain of events that leads to this, which then leads to that being on the ballot for all of the municipalities in November.
Yeah, it's been a long process, and we're finally getting near the end of that process. So.
Did you say the working meeting is when the Bloomsbury representatives are?
Yeah, I believe they're going to be here at the working meeting to answer any questions. Yes.
Andrew?
I feel like we need some clarification on constituent district, sending district, and the difference between those two. Because we have 11 constituent districts.
Yes.
But we have 12 sending districts.
Municipalities.
Yes,
Right.
Yeah.
So I think we need to be very clear when we say those things, because I feel like there's been some crossover in where we say one but we mean the other,
right.
Or vice versa.
Yeah, it's even, regional tax versus district tax. Right? They're sort of interchangeable when we talk about that.
Right, so my assumption is the one that is not a constituent but is a sending district, is that Lebanon Borough, because they don't have, what is the?
So no, it's actually Clinton Glen Gardner School District. So
they're,
and again, to give you the quick history here, this board used to be 13 board members because the legislative code says it has to be the amount of constituent districts you have plus one, right? And so Glen Gardner used to be a non-operating school district. They had they had a board of ed, they passed bylaws, they passed policies, and then they sent all their students to the town of Clinton. And I think it was 2009, the state actually had a push to close all non-operating districts. And at that point, I don't know if you were on a board then in Clinton, Brendan, but
No, it was before my time.
Clinton and Glen Gardner became one district. And so they are now the Clinton/Glen Gardner Board of Education. And so that's why when that happened, we went actually from 13 board members down to 12 because of that rule. To bring Bloomsbury on, we have to go to 13. And then the allocation of that is sort of based on population, weighted votes, things like that. And yes, I wish we could make it less complicated, but it is.
I appreciate the insight, thank you.
Absolutely.
You lost me though.
Sorry, Brian.
We have 11 constituent districts.
We have 11 sending districts. We have 11 school districts that send students to our high school.
Okay, so
But
that's
one
the
of
11
those-
plus 1,
12
is why we're 12.
Correct.
Okay.
One of those school districts comprises 2 boroughs.
That's very important. Yeah. So we have more.
And it's Clinton Borough and Glen Gardner Borough are combined. It's
Into
the
one
boroughs.
district.
Town of Clinton
Okay.
and Glen Gardner Borough are
Town.
one school
One
district.
Not Clinton
So
Township.
it's not municipalities, it's sending districts, not
Correct.
sending municipalities, sending districts,
That's correct, yes.
which is, I think, how we've always referred to it, but.
Right, but to Andrew's
Again,
point,
terminology
it
matters, and I
becomes
think we use it sometimes to
It's
change.
clear until you muddy the water.
Well, the last 2 meetings I've been hearing constituent district, which just, I was like, well, now my head's spinning, so.
Yeah.
All right, any other old or new business items? All right.
Well, so let me just ask about that. Do we know, is it the county that tells us what the votes will be after that? Assuming all this passes, and Bloomsbury joins and we go up by a member, and we get a bigger set of tables.
Yes.
Does the county tell us how the votes split?
So
The weighting?
the county will tell us how to vote splits after the 2030 census. It's our responsibility right now to look at what that split is now, determine what makes the most sense as far as allocation, and then adopt that as a board. So it's up to this board to determine that now.
We determine it.
Now, once the new census comes out in 2030, every time there's a census, the county office reevaluates all of that. So they could look at it after the 2020 census. If you remember, I believe it was Bethlehem Township actually was a 1.3 vote. So our full board vote was 12.1 when you added it all up, right? And when the census in 2020 came out, it was around 21, maybe beginning of 22. It takes them a year or two after the census is compiled. Bethlehem lost that 0.1 because of the calculations, and they went down to a 1.2, and so now we're at 12. And the big question then was, what do we do if it's a 6-6? And then when we did all the math, it wouldn't come out possible anyway with all of our weighted votes. And even if it did come out to a 6-6, the legal opinion at the time was 6 doesn't pass. You need something over 6. Yes, we get to determine it when Bloomsbury comes on, based on the 2020 census, and then the county office can reallocate that after the 2030.
Okay. I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get
And
there.
I'm sure there's approvals by the county office and things like that, but
Just a quick suggestion on the, how we divvy up the votes. My recommendation would be to give Union Township 6.1. Divide the rest, it's up to you. But that's just, I'm just throwing it out there as my suggestion, so.
Must have been a hell of a
It's a good
census.
starting point.
Second.
We can negotiate from there.
All right. Last item, I have a correspondence from the county superintendent that I'm required to read into the record. I would just want to preface this with a few notes, comments. The correspondence is regarding responding to the county office regarding votes. We have been in the process of seeking some legal clarity and have gotten some conflicting statutory interpretations as to the specific requirements of a response. Additionally, one board member was not afforded the opportunity to provide a reason. We are in the process of seeking additional clarity if the issue is now considered resolved, as well as legal clarity regarding the statutory elements and/or requirements. Additionally, we believed that a legal response was forthcoming that would have potentially satisfied the letter before being sent. The letter itself reads, Dear North Hunterdon-Voorhees Board President McIsaac, beginning in January of this year, one board member has consistently voted no for the certification of funds. Last month, an additional board member voted no per NJAC 6A:23A-16.10b. The members are required to provide a reason for their negative votes. The board members via the board attorney stated that they had concerns about the operations of the business office. As I had previously communicated to the board attorney via email correspondence, this explanation is vague and does not address the purpose of the regulation, which is to keep the oversight agency informed of potential fiscal deficits and possibly for the administration to correct and develop action plans to address structural financial issues. I have not received answers to the following questions previously communicated to the board attorney on March 30th, 2026. 1, what are your specific concerns about the operations of the business office? 2, how do these concerns impact your ability to vote yes to certifying that no fund has been overexpended in violation of NJAC 6A:23A-1610b, and that sufficient funds are available to meet the Board of Education's financial obligations for the remainder of the fiscal year? Is it their position that A, funds have been overexpended or in violation of NJAC 6A:23A-1610b, or there are not sufficient funds available to meet the Board of Education's financial obligations for the remainder of the fiscal year? I also followed up with the Board Council on April 7th, 2026, seeking answers to these questions. As of April 21st, 2026, I have not received the answers to these questions. Please read this letter into the record at your next board meeting so that the public is aware of our due diligence in seeking this information. Thank you for your attention to this matter, and I will work with council to see that this gets satisfactorily resolved and answered. Can I get a call for a motion and a second to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. So we had Tara and Nicole. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right. Have a good night, folks.
Good night.